The Most Important Chant of Our Movement by Allan Stevo. There's a chant that goes like this. It's 4 syllables. President Paul, President Paul, President Paul. The reason it's the most important chant is because of the effect it has when it suddenly hits you what the chant is about. The internal thoughts of that moment go something like this. Oh, yeah. That brilliant philosopher up there speaking is running for president. And he could actually be the president one day. Wouldn't that be something? Standing in a room of 100 or 6,500 supporters hearing a chant like that for just 3 minutes can overcome 3 months of garbage from the media. You know the kind of garbage I'm talking about. Never asking Ron Paul about the meat and potato issues, but only speaking about him with attempts to smear him or by raising issues like these. Question. Are you considering a third-party run? Answer. Third-party runs are great. You don't tell a front-runner in a major party to run third-party. Ron Paul has shown himself a front-runner in the delegate count since Iowa. The media lies about or has not performed their due diligence on the delegate count. These lies do little to stop us, as can be determined by the fact that Ron Paul has been fantastic at picking up delegates and is now doing so at an increasing rate. Based on the all-important delegate count, Ron Paul is now winning states that were long called for other candidates based on the near-meaningless popular vote totals. Question. If asked, would you serve as Governor Romney's vice president? Answer. Please see the information in the answer above. Question. Congressman Paul, don't you think it's time to drop out of the race? Answer. Ditto. Question. Isn't Ron Paul really just staying in this race to negotiate a primetime speaking spot at the Republican National Convention in Tampa? Answer. Ditto. And we don't want a one-time primetime speaking spot. We want the White House. Question. Ron Paul is really more of a protest vote, not someone who can actually win this. Isn't that the case? Answer. Ditto. Question. Is Ron Paul staying in the race to secure a deal in hopes of being chosen for some sort of cabinet position? Answer. Ditto. Question. Ron Paul makes a bad president, but would be a great Treasury Secretary. Wouldn't you agree? Answer. You guessed it. Ditto. None of that changes the fact that we are positioned to win this nomination. All that is idle chatter, whether it comes from a friend or a foe. And let's hope at this point, only 15 weeks into a 9-month primary cycle, with very few delegates decided, and 20 of 50 states still not having even started the delegate selection process, let's hope that you're hearing this idle chatter a lot more from foe than friend. Or better yet, let's hope you've not heard it at all. Which might mean you've turned off the TV and canceled your newspaper subscription because you're tired of showing support for a band of liars who never mention Ron Paul unless it's in an attempt to diminish the strength of our movement. Those liars never mention that lone septuagenarian traveling the country speaking to packed houses and spreading the truth of what he sees around him. If you haven't already, may I ask that you too unplug the boob tube? I mean, if you like Ron Paul and see him as part of the solution, Fox and the rest are just a depressing lie. Take them out of your purview. Prevent them from influencing you. Unplug that TV. Do that and O'Reilly's the pinhead and you're the patriot. Excuse me while I gag for stooping to the use of his dialectic. Because you have a powerful influence on the train of your own mind. Ron Paul stops being a protest vote and instead he becomes the man who can inspire the great debate. If you've lost hope, I'd like to ask you to keep an eye on Ron Paul's speaking schedule and get to a place where you might be able to hear the uplifting chant. President Paul. Because like any election, this election is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once enough people believe something possible, it becomes possible. If we believe he'll be president, we'll work for it. If you don't believe he'll be president, the message of the mainstream media on Ron Paul from day one, then you've already lost. We've already lost. As for me, I know President Paul is a chant of hope, and a chant to ourselves, Napoleon Hill style, announcing to ourselves, visualizing for ourselves exactly what it is we are working to achieve. A chanting of our goal. A visualizing that the man at the podium will be the next president of the U.S. and that he might bring gridlock. And he might bring an uncomfortable redrawing of the political boundaries. but he'll also bring that important debate. President Paul means Americans will talk to each other. Americans will think with each other. It means that America has many bright days ahead, and we'll see to it that they come. That's what the President Paul chant means. Mises chanted it as a schoolboy in Central Europe when he took for himself the motto, "Do not give in to evil, but proceed ever more boldly against it." I ask you to chant the same today, because the spirit of the pages in which I write call on each of us to point out evil, to fight evil, and at that second when you feel like you can barely fight another moment, for you to summon that strength from somewhere within yourself to fight even more boldly against it.